All right, welcome. I'm going to share a little practice with you today. You'll need a couple of things for this practice. You'll need a couple of balls. So these are the yoga therapy balls from Yoga Tune-Up. However, if you don't have these, you can do this with tennis balls, any other small size balls you might have lying around. Or if you've only got one, totally fine. You'll just probably need to pause the video so that instead of doing two sides at once, you can do one side at a time. You also could even grab some thick socks and ball them up and use that. We're going to use these for a little self-massage later in the practice. And then the other thing that you would benefit from in this practice is a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, a dog leash works really well for this. You could use a bathrobe tie, particularly if you have one that's less stretchy, or any kind of strap or tie of some kind. We're going to use this to give your leg a little bit of support later in the practice. So have those items available. And then we're going to use a check-in pose for this practice. So the check-in pose we're going to use is a lying down crescent moon pose. It's a side bend posture. And to do the pose the way we'll be doing it today, you do need to be able to comfortably extend your legs and bring your arms alongside your ears when you're lying down. If that's not available to you right now, you can still do a partial version of the pose and just see what you notice as we go through the practice. So I'm going to lie down first. Take a moment to settle your body onto the ground. Just tucking in. And then we'll just scan through the body from the head down to the feet. And just notice any little differences from right to left side. Notice how your connection feels to the ground, as well as any parts of the body that are talking to you or are really grabbing your attention right now. And if you notice as you're here that you could make some little adjustments to feel a little more comfortable, go ahead and do those things. Now you could stay here if this is where you're most comfortable and do modified version of that crescent moon pose with either the lower body or the upper body or both in a position something like this, if that suits your body better. If it feels comfortable to extend your legs long on the mat, you're going to go ahead and do that. And then if it feels comfortable for you to take your arms alongside the ears, you're going to go ahead and do that as well. If it works better for you to have the arms a little wider, go ahead and do that for right now. So take a moment, take a nice inhale, stretch your heels and your fingertips away from each other, and then relax. And then moving slowly, we're going to start to walk your feet over towards the right, any amount that feels good. Now, as you go, your pelvis might rotate or turn on the floor a little bit so that your right hip comes a little higher, closer to your right armpit, and your left hip moves away a little bit. So pay attention to how comfortable that feels as you go. We want to come to a place where we still are really able to be here with ease. So if you're starting to get some pinchiness or some discomfort or even a lot of strain or stretchiness, tension, you may be starting to go a little bit too far. This might be very small. And then we're going to start to walk the arms and maybe the head also over towards the right. And maybe the shoulders are also going to shift a little bit on the mat here. Again, right shoulder coming a little closer to that right hip, left shoulder moving a little higher away from that left hip. And we want to move again into a place of ease. And then you might take your right hand and just lightly hold your left wrist. We don't need to pull this left arm any further than it wants to go, just providing it with a little bit of an anchor. So see how that feels. If that feels strange, don't do it. And then you might also cross your left ankle over your right, and you can just see how that feels. So for some of us, that's going to add some discomfort or some tension into the body that we don't need. So I'm feeling a little bit of that right now. I'm going to uncross. But if that feels good for you, you can cross the ankle as well. Now, once you bring the arms in, you may find actually you want to walk the legs back a little bit. So feel free to do that. We're looking for a place where you feel a nice, even lengthening through the left side. And you're still able to be here with a sense of ease and comfort. And then we're going to walk the feet back to center. Uncross first if you need to. Release the hands, walk back to what feels like center. You may notice some lopsidedness here now. That's all right. And then we're going to walk over to the left. Any amount that feels good. Walking the hands and head over to the left, any amount that feels good. Maybe anchoring the right wrist with the left hand. Maybe crossing the right ankle over the left. Finding this nice even sense of opening through the whole right side. And then look for ease. Can you relax here? Are you comfortable? Are the sensations evenly distributed? And on the quiet side, not super intense. So just notice what you feel here. Notice where the sensations are, what those sensations are like. And then we're going to release the ankle and wrist, walk everything back to center. And then go ahead and bring the hands down by your sides, bending your knees, placing your feet on the ground. And just check in with how things feel now. From here, we're going to connect your feet into the floor. Keep your left foot rooted as you bring your right knee in. And as you bring your right knee in towards your body, you might notice that your low back starts to settle in towards the floor. So for right now, we're going to move into a range where that happens. We get a little bit of a curve through the low back as we bring this right leg in. You can hold on to the right shin. You can hold on behind the right knee. You can use your strap, if you like, around the leg. You can bring your leg wider around your body if that's more comfortable. So feel into where you feel good having that right leg right now. And then you might see how it feels to extend your left leg on the ground. That might be a yes for your body, or it might be a no. If it's a no or anywhere in the I'm not sure region, go ahead and bend that left knee again, placing the foot on the ground. Take some nice, easy breaths in as you breathe out. See where you're able to relax. And then if you've extended that left leg, go ahead and bend it again. Left foot on the floor. Find your strap or your strap-like object. As you release that right leg, we're going to take that strap around the back of the leg, up high towards the knee. You're going to hold that strap lightly with the hands. That's just going to provide a little bit of support and a little bit of guidance for the right leg. You see if you can bring the right leg so the knee is about above the hip and the lower leg is about parallel to the floor. And then we're going to start to trace some small circles in the air with that right thigh. So what's happening here is the right thigh bone comes down into the hip socket. That head of the thigh bone is circling in the hip socket. You might really think about that thigh bone just making those small movements at the hip. Knees gonna circle, legs gonna circle. See if you can keep these movements nice and small. Now, small is actually harder than large, you may well find. Think about this as being just finding a nice, smooth, easy sense of control at the hip joint itself. And then go the other direction. Rest if you feel rest is indicated. Often when we rest, then we get better movement after we rest, right? So it's all good. There's no rush. And if you're watching this video, you can always pause it. When you're ready, you're going to take that strap off the leg, bring the right foot back to the floor. Put that strap to the side for a moment and just watch the process. Now, how does your body want to adjust after you did those movements? And then bring the left leg in towards your body. Hands can come up over the shin, behind the knee, or you could use the strap around the leg if you want to. You can let that leg come wider, maybe moving your abdomen out of the way, so finding a really comfortable position for that leg. If it feels good, you might stretch that right leg out long on the mat, or you might not. Remember, it's okay here if you're feeling some flattening of your low back on that left side. We're just going to take some nice, full, easy breaths into your body here. As you exhale, see where it's possible to relax. And relaxation is not the be-all and end-all, by the way. So it may well be that some parts of your body don't relax here, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you're just seeing how this side feels. Noticing what you notice. And then if you extended your right leg, you're going to bend it again, placing that foot on the floor. You're going to find your strap again. You're going to take that strap around the back of the left leg up closer towards the knee if that works for you. You're going to hold on to that strap with your hands and bring this leg so the knee is up above the hip, more or less. Maybe the lower leg is more or less parallel to the floor. Hold that strap nice and light. So it provides just a little bit of a guide, a little bit of a support for the left leg. And then you're going to start to make those little circles with the thigh. You might feel like your knee is tracing circles in the air, but those circles are going to come deep from the left hip. Really thinking about how that thigh bone is moving in the hip, letting that be the guide for the movement of the whole leg. We're looking for movements that feel comfortable and easy. We're going to go the other way as well. I'm just noticing how it feels to do small movements with the left leg. Noticing how it's the same or different from the right. Noticing what happens when you try to move in this way. When you're ready, you're going to remove the strap, bring that left foot down to the floor. Take a moment just to be here and just to notice how your body responds now to having done these movements. And then we'll just come back to that check-in pose. So extending the legs if that feels good. Extending the arms alongside the ears. We'd be stretching long for a moment. And then just walk the feet and then the hands over to the right, using the right hand to hold the left wrist perhaps. Maybe crossing the ankle, left ankle over the right. Just seeing if anything's changed and how this pose feels now. We always prefer to see change, positive change. But even negative change or no change gives us some really good information about what we just did and how that landed in the body-mind, right? So just noticing what you notice. And when you're ready, release, walk things back to center, walk things over to the left again. Maybe using the left hand to hold the right wrist and crossing the right ankle over the left. And then just see, how does this side feel now, having done what we did? When you're ready, release. Walk everything back to center. Maybe bending the knees again. Bringing the arms down for a moment, checking in with your body. And then bring your knees in towards you. You might rock a little bit here side to side. And then if it works for you, you might rock onto your side. Straighten that top leg, press the hands into the floor to come up. And if you want to come up a different way, feel free to come up a different way. So we're going to take these balls now. I'm going to place the ball up in the armpit. Yeah, as high up there as it feels comfortable. Now, I prefer to have a t-shirt on when I do this, because sometimes it can be kind of unpleasant right up in the armpit if you got like a tank top on, something like that. You can also cover the balls. And you may notice your body wants to kind of reject those balls. So sometimes that's something that happens when there's tightness. Sometimes there can be a lot of sensation. You're going to sit or stand to the best of your ability in a place that's comfortable and just let those balls be there. And then start to imagine as you're inhaling that you have gills right below your collarbones. You're breathing directly in through those collarbone gills. And then let the breath flow down into the side bodies. Now, if you're getting really intense sensation or you're starting to get some numbness or some tingling, this may not be the thing for you right now. So you may want to remove those balls and then check in with a trusted teacher who can give you a little more guidance here. Remember, if you've only got one ball, then do one side, pause the video, do the other side separately. It's all good. We're just letting the balls be there and breathe, and the balls are providing some stimulus, just some information to our bodies. And we're going to see how the body responds then to that stimulus that it's getting. And we'll take 2 more nice easy breaths in through the collarbone gills. Letting the breath flow down into the side bodies, into that space next to the balls. And then when you're ready, you're going to let those balls come out to the sides. Take a moment in seated or standing just to notice what that feels like. Notice the whole body, right? Like what else happens when those balls come out of the armpits? And then we're going to come back to lie down again. Take your time to get there. So settling onto the floor. And then maybe if it feels comfortable, extending the legs, extending the arms. And then walk things over to the right again. Maybe using the right hand to hold the left arm. Maybe crossing the left ankle over the right. And just see, how does this feel now? Has anything changed? Like, how do those simple practices that we did land in the body-mind system, and how do you know? What do you feel? And when you're ready, release. Walk things back to center. Slowly walk things over to the left. Maybe using the left hand to grasp the right wrist. Maybe crossing the right ankle over the left. And then just see what's going on now. Remembering to think about ease, right? Is there ease? And if there's not ease, how can you do this posture with just a little bit less effort so that ease can be part of it? Because we don't need to force our bodies into change in order to find healing, in order to find more space or more relaxation, less discomfort. Rather, when we work with ease, we find that ease grows more ease. And when you're ready, you can release, walk back to center, maybe stretch long if you want to see how that feels, and then come back into a comfortable position, taking just a few breaths to notice how things are. Feel free to rest a little longer if you would like to. When you're ready to come up, you might roll to one side and press up from your side, or feel free to come up a different way if that feels better for your body. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you found this really, really helpful. I'd love to hear your questions and experiences in the comments. Take really, really good care.